Hi, my name's Kelvin Bloodsaw. I'm from Martinez, California. I grew up in Philadelphia. I was raised by my mom, single mother. We lived with my grandmother. Ever since I was young, I'd always sort of questioned my sexuality. I was just very unsure about it and really about myself. And I feel like from a very young age, a lot of my counterparts sort of picked up on that. And so being so young and really unsure of myself and my sexuality and being labeled as such was really something that just sent me to like a very, very, very dark place. It took me a very long time to come out. I remember I spent most of my years obviously pretending to be straight, pretending to be someone that I'm not. I think by the time I was 26, after years of just living in the closet, denying myself to live my truth and who I was, I randomly met this guy. It was just very easy for me to be around him. It was very easy for me to just feel comfortable, being with another man. It was the first time I'd ever really experienced that in my life. Long story short, this individual helped me come out by chance. He was at my house, I snuck him in, and my entire family came. And I'm just like chilling in my room. He's like getting out of the shower, and they're like, "Kelvin, like, who the hell is this like in our house?" It's literally my mother and my father and my grandmother like all standing over me in my room, like asking me to explain. I thought I was gonna die. He sort of introduced himself, like almost like as if he had known my family or that he had a right to be there and that I hadn't snuck him in or whatnot. Naturally, they kicked him out. But what that sort of did was pretty much usher my coming out. My parents were very accepting, as well as my grandmother. During what was probably the scariest moment in my life, this guy was there for me and he was cool and like he talked to my parents and like it made everything feel okay. And I think that particular experience for me personally is what sort of caused me to really bond with this individual. We started dating very quickly. Before I knew it, he was over my house all the time. I was over his house all the time. Things were good for about 3 or 4 months until I remember one particular day I was at this career fair for like a new job and I'm getting this phone call. And so I answer and it's him and he's like, "Oh, I need you, like come over, like I'm not feeling well, like just I need you to be here, blah, blah, blah." I just left the interview, like came back to sort of check on him. And he didn't really seem to be as in dire need as like he sort of sounded to be, but I really brushed it off. It just sort of progressed to where, it was, at work, he needed me. When I was out, he needed me. When I was with friends, he needed me. I took it as, he really likes me, he really loves me, he really cares about me. So, I think a part of me, I felt indebted to him because of what he had helped me through. I ended up moving in because he wanted me to move in. I quit my job and I was working for like his mom. So like now I was, very intertwined with him and his family and his life. I feel like it just took a point where once I had sort of given all of myself, I feel like that sort of gratitude just really wasn't reciprocated. There was a lot of infidelity, a lot of lies and so forth. And so after about 1.5 years of just sort of chipping away at my spirit, my mind, like I just was very broken. One time I literally went out to buy groceries and I came back to his apartment and there was someone there and like I lost it. I lost it and I literally just dropped the groceries. I left all of my stuff. I went home and really never looked back. I remember just, locking myself in my bedroom, like my childhood bedroom, blinds down, just sort of dark. And, I just slept and slept and slept. So I just sort of sank deeper and deeper into this depression. I didn't have a phone. I didn't have a laptop. I didn't have a tablet. I didn't have any of those things. All I really had was my radio, like my childhood radio. I remember during the time, the City Girls had just dropped this really hot song called Act Up. And it was just a great song. I don't know what it was about that particular song in that particular moment, but it literally just catapulted me out of the bed. And I swear, like, I performed that song like I literally was like the third member of like the City Girls. And I remember when the song was over, just standing in my room, like looking around like, oh my gosh, like I feel something. And I don't know why, I just got this idea. I was like, you know what? Like, I feel like I'm gonna write my own verse to this song. I don't know why. I was like, I feel like they were giving me life, they were empowering me. And I'm like, I need to give my perspective on this song and I need to say what I'm feeling. So I think I wrote a freestyle, maybe like 15, 20 minutes. And so just to get something out, like some words, like almost like a sort of poetry of how I was feeling, it put the biggest smile on my face. And I was like, I have not been this happy to have just written, like 16 bars, like, in so long. So I would practice it in my room. It sort of just gave me something to do. My best friend who lives in DC, he would have these long drives from work. So, I was telling him, I was like, okay, like, I know this is crazy, but I wrote a verse for the City Girls Act Up. So he's like, okay, like, whatever, like, go for it. So I freestyled it, like, a cappella, no music, no nothing, because I had no reference, on the phone with him. And he just was like, Kelvin, like, what the fuck? I'm not kidding you. He was like, that was so fucking good. That really was the particular moment that made me feel like, okay, crazy, but why don't you give this a shot? Eventually I got another phone and like a tablet or whatnot, but I still didn't have a job. So in between like searching for jobs, I would just sort of be in my room. I'd find little beats to whatever kind of song on the radio I'd liked at that particular time. And I would write verses and record them on my phone and like upload them to Instagram. And people took liking to them. I got to meet a lot of other creatives, other producers and so forth. It just made me feel so good. And I feel like after just the majority of my life questioning who I was, being labeled, giving myself to others, this was the first time that I was literally just doing something for me. Eventually I met producers, I got into the studio. Since then I was like, I got a great job. I got sober. I sort of started volunteering more, just more things to sort of fulfill, I think that void that was in me for a long time. Music for me has been really just medicine to my soul. It sort of just instilled within me like a confidence and sort of self-love that I never really had. Like, I'm happier than I've ever been. I'm single and I'm happy, you know what I mean? I'm gay and I'm happy, I'm making music and I'm happy, but like most importantly, like I love myself, and I have never, ever, ever been able to say that. So just being able to like say it and mean it and know it, good, bad, and different is just, it's so magical. And I really hope that, anyone who listens to my music or gets to know me can just know that I'm all about self-love and really uplifting and encouraging and inspiring other people to be who they are, because it's totally okay.